Now give it a moment. Then turn it back on. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So the VP78, when you ran out of ammo, this was your go-to gun. You know, throwing hands with the Xenomorph, boxing with them. This was your gun. And honestly, I feel like I used this thing more often than I should have, just because I liked conserving the ammo that I had. So this, in a sense, was my primary in the game. So I just felt a little more compelled to make this in real life. Oh, you starting already? So first and foremost, let's show clear, completely safe. So right off the bat, you're going to notice some differences with this thing. Mainly that this thing is way smaller than what is depicted in the game, at least in my opinion. And also that the slide up top here is a little more round. It's not as blocky or as square as it is in the game. And the reason for that is because the one in the game is based off the M93R, which is a burst fire version of the Beretta 92fs. Now they're basically the same guns, but the M93R is burst fire, and it has that really iconic rectangular and blocky looking slide, whereas with the 92fs it's more rounded, sleek, it's meant to be more ergonomic for, you know, manipulation. And secondly, there's no light on the side, which that's what I assume it is in the game. I mean, the thing on the bottom of the rail here, it looks more like it's just a piece of metal, or what looks like it's a battery or something, maybe even the grip that's supposed to be on the M93R, but they just have it, you know, collapsed. I don't know, it's a weird take on the gun, but it still looks really cool. It's got a rugged looking futuristic design to it. And one thing to note also is that this is a Beretta 92fs. It is not the A1 version, which comes with the rail on the bottom. This one doesn't have a rail to start with. So what I did was I got these grips that actually go all the way to the front underneath the slide, and they pretty much give it a rail, which let me put this flashlight on here. And it gives it that OD green look that you can see in the game also. I tried to make it as accurate as I could. That thing on the bottom, it didn't really look like it was anything other than just a piece of metal that was attached there. This is a light, it's a Holosun PID, and there's no way to attach anything on the side here without ruining the gun, so I didn't do that. And also, unless the ATF gets really cool about a lot of shit really fast, this thing is semi-auto only. I can't exactly make this burst fire in the game because that would be illegal. And in the game you can see it has what looks like a wire running from the light up front onto the grip, and that's why this little Velcro strip here is attached to it. But there's no reason for it on this gun because the lights are paddle activated. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be ranking this thing based off a few aspects. The first is realism. How realistic is it? The second is it practical? Would I use this in a real world scenario since it's based off the game version? And third, how ergonomic is it? How comfortable is it to shoot, and how well do I have control over manipulation of the gun? How fast can I rack the slide? How can I reach the magazine? Stuff like that. And so starting with realism in game, it's actually not that bad. It's pretty true to the M93R in real life. And for those wondering, why don't you just do it with the M93R? Why are you using the 92fs? Well, I don't have $100,000 to spare, so I'm doing it with the next best thing that I have. And essentially they're the same gun. You can use the 93R in single fire mode. It just gives you the option for burst fire. So realism, I would say it is, I'd give it an 8. It's not bad, it's not perfect by no means, but certainly not bad. If anything, I would just reduce the size and Maybe change out that little metal piece on the bottom here where the light should be, because I don't know what it's supposed to be in the game. Plus that light on the side, or what I assume that's a light, maybe it could be a laser or something. That thing, you can, you know, just put it on the bottom if you replace the grip with it. There's ways to do it, but I mean, by no means is it a bad design. I really like the way it looks in the game, but for realism's sake, I give it an 8. For practicality, I would give this an, I was gonna say an 8. I'll say a 7, just because this is sort of an outdated gun. And by outdated, I mean there's not really a whole lot of people who carry this variant anymore, and even less so the M93R, because that thing is a collector's piece. You're not really gonna find that thing out in the wild anywhere. But if you're running it based on the 92fs version, this thing is still popular, but it's not as common as you would see maybe a Glock 19 or 17, or even something else, maybe like a Smith & Wesson or something. I mean, don't get me wrong, if you run one of these things and you love it, hey, by all means, power to you. Hell, I still love running this thing. It looks so good. I mean, just look at that. Look at that. Damn, that's sexy. There are newer versions of this thing. There's the A1s, A2s, and A3s. But for the most part, those have like different ergonomic feels. I mean, this one's got like sort of a rounded back here. Those newer ones, they have that straight back, and not really a fan because, I don't know, the round, it feels really good in the hand. That's what I really like about this gun, is that it just feels really good, which leads me into ergonomics. This thing feels really nice to manipulate. The slide, it's very, very smooth, no resistance. The magazine, I can reach that even with this kind of bulky grip here. It doesn't get in the way too bad. All I gotta do is put the little crook of my thumb in there and I can easily get to it. And if I really wanted to try and get off grip, I can use the tip of my thumb and still get it really well. But yeah, this thing is really, really nice. I would say it's a 9 on ergonomics. It's just really comfortable shooting. And the light on the bottom, I meing, they're there for a reason, the paddles. It just makes it so much easier, where I know there's some that have a little switch, and like Streamlights, they have that little switch where it kind of looks like 2 tabs sticking out of the sides, and you kind of tilt one or the other to get that light on. Where this one, it's a paddle. It's super easy to manipulate with your finger, ambidextrous, so if you're left-handed, you can do it either way. Versus in the game where you would have it on the back here where the grip is, which that's not bad, but it's certainly not the best. So for that reason, I would give it a 9, just because that one little thing does ruin it for me. If I had a wire running back here, and that's just getting in the way, especially if you're left-handed or right-handed, wherever that light is positioned, it's going to get in the way for you. Whereas if you just had these little paddle switches, it would be perfectly fine. So for that reason, the game version does not get a perfect score. Everything else is, I mean, it's doing okay so far, but ergonomics, it would have really dominated if it just stayed at least a little bit accurate to what we have in real life. But overall, I think this is a really good design for a gun. It's a really good build if you are one of the few rich people out there who can afford 93, and you just feel really nerdy and decide, you know what, I want to make the VP78 from Aliens vs. Predator because I played it when it came out in 2010, and boxing xenomorphs, that was the shit. When you're in the club decimating those bugs, John Wick mode, man, that gave you such a trip of power. So I think that about wraps it up. Let me know what you think about this build. Do you like it? What would you have done differently? And also, what else do you want to see? I mean, I know I got this thing coming up, the R99 from Apex. I got the Patriot here from Metal Gear Solid 3. I'm working on that, just the drum mag. And I also got some other stuff that I wanted to do as well. I'm working on it. But enough about that. I'll get into all that stuff when those videos come out. But In the meantime, thank you for watching. Thanks for being patient. I know there's a little gap this time from the last time I uploaded, but I just got caught up with a lot of stuff, so I'm getting back to it. Like, I'm gonna start getting back to uploading more. But yeah, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.